Hello everyone and welcome to our brand new episode of Beers and Balls. You're here with Will Davis and my good friend Ellis Lane.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about what age you should play players 50%, what age you should change their positions, rotate them around the pitch.
And is that just at grassroots level or at adult level as well? Adult amateur level? Stay tuned.
So you've been a coach since you were 18? 16,
I've been a coach since I was 15.
15,
Yeah,
long time. And you've coached all the age groups, would you
By
say?
and large, mate, yeah.
By and large, all the age groups?
3-year-olds up to U8. Done a bit of adult as well. Done a little bit
Yeah,
of
a
adult.
little bit of adults,
couple of games.
So you've pretty much covered all the bases.
Pretty much,
yeah.
Pretty much.
At the low level, you know, like, I'm not saying you haven't coached at high level.
No, yeah. I've covered all
But-
grassroots, everything.
What I wanted to ask was what age? Because like a lot of teams that are like the younger teams, they'll throw a player into any position.
Right.
What age is the age where you concentrate on a
Positions.
position? Like one player has that position, and you're developing them in an actual position rather than just their all-round gameplay.
Yeah.
What age
So,
roundabout would you say that is?
For me, personally, and it's probably not going to be received well, this, but I'm going to say anyway. I started second year of 99, which is U12.
Yeah.
I start not pigeonholing, but I start to coach the players to understand relationships between their position and a secondary position. So, for example, if I look at a player and I think you've got all the attributes, in my opinion, as a centre half. You're going to play centre half, and you're also going to play centre midfield.
A bit centre midfield,
Yes,
or
yes.
would you go 50-50 with that?
In the first year, I'd probably go 60-40 primary position, secondary position,
Okay.
60%, 40%. And then when it gets to U13, that dwindles again, as you've seen with our U13s, in regards to, obviously one of our players, our centre back, he has moments in centre mid. It's like,
Because for me, I've done no younger than under 12s.
yeah, right.
You know, and at under 12s, I agree with you. I think you should be sort of not concentrating solely. I'm not saying just because at 12 you're a centre back, you're going to end up as a centre back.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but you've got to start learning the roles,
The
a
roles
bit more. You know,
Yeah.
throwing players left, right, and centre. You know, like one minute you're playing right back, next minute you're playing left midfield. It doesn't help them at that age.
I don't think it does. Not in game. Now, if you were to give a player a game at right back and then left mid the following game, maybe. But I see a lot of games where it's like this player started there, then he's up front, then he's there. I don't know how cognitively that U12 is going to grasp his roles and responsibilities of that position in that game time. We've got an hour and he's playing 3 positions.
Yeah, I agree. Like when they're coming off, they should be literally going back on 2 positions.
Yeah,
2 positions. You shouldn't just be like, right, we need he's got to come
so
off at left
throw
mid,
in
so
there.
throw him on
Yeah,
left mid.
exactly.
Not only is it going to hurt your team, it's going to probably hurt the player.
It could damage their confidence.
So that leads me to sort of secondary question is the game management.
Sorry about the wobble on the camera, by the way. We have a tripod issue.
Yeah. So that leads me to the secondary question. Game management.
Right.
What age do you start not giving them 50-50? You know, like, or do you do that all the way up to 18, where every player deserves 50% of the game time up to 18? Because like when they're younger, obviously everyone deserves a right. But I think personally, and I know I'm asking you, but I'm going to throw this out. I think it can lead to bullying. You know, if you've got a weaker player in the team
Who isn't?
at the right level,
Yeah.
that keeps causing issues and making mistakes,
Yeah.
it's the players. They know that,
Yeah.
and then they can start picking on that player, which is only going to
Yeah.
hurt that player.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to play football. He's not going to be part of that team.
I agree.
So, what would you say
there's
about
two
that?
arguments to. First, let me address what you just said. So, firstly, in the team that I work with, I have the benefit of selecting. So that player that is significantly weaker than the rest of the group, I don't have to
We
take.
work with, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Well, he works for me. Don't forget that.
Okay, of course. I'm the gaffer, he's the assistant, but we won't go into that anymore. We don't have to take that kid that's way below the level, because that's the level we're at, right? In regards to Sunday League, box down Sunday League, if you get 10 players, 14 players to a trial, you've probably got to take them all because you need a team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to take those low-level players who you're going to have to try and get on the pitch. Now, would I ever take a kid to a game under the age of U14 and not give them a minute? No. And if there's any coach out there, I don't care who you are, you're a disgrace and you should not be in the
even
league.
cup finals or
Don't care.
or a game that
If
might,
you have selected a kid,
it might win you the league.
I don't care. If you have selected a player who is not good enough, but you said, you know what, come on, you're taking his subs, you're taking his fees, he's turning up every week, he's turning up training.
That's a big point.
And you have
Money
the
as well.
audacity to take him to a game that may be 20 minutes from his house or maybe an hour from his house and not play that child under U14 and below. You should not be in coaching and you're an embarrassment to
So
the game.
you say not a minute, would you be sufficient with a minute?
No.
So what
No.
would you say is the minimum?
At U14,
Minimum.
I believe each player you should aim at getting every single player 50%. Now, what I mean by that is, if that player gets injured or he has a bit of a blip in confidence and he gets all emotional, depending on the age, of course, and you've got to take him back off and you've got to do a bit of consoling before you put it back on. Now that kid may not get 50% now because the game's still going while he's sorting himself out. Picks up a little knock, has to come on for a break, all that kind of stuff. But every kid under the age of U14 and below should be getting 50%. Now, how you can get around it in a way is saying over the course of a season, each player will play 50%. Mm-hmm. So that means if player A, for example, played 90% on game day 1, but then 30% on game day 2, while balance is out, he's still played a lot more than what he should have at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for us, we do it, right? We have times where, it's a very close game. We can't really afford to make a change. And we've got to bring on a player or two that work quite at the level. And we have to do it because I could not drive home knowing I have just left a kid sat on the bench for God knows how long. And I just couldn't do it.
We're quite lucky that we get to select the best of the crop, and every one of our players should probably be starting.
Yeah.
But there are always players out there, even in our team, that are slightly, above the others.
Yeah, there is.
That happens in every team. But would you say, you coached adults, you haven't coached adults as much, so have you?
No.
You flirted with the adults for a little bit, but not too much. Whereas I'm predominantly an adult team coach. That's my background.
Yeah.
Would you say it's the same with them?
No. So as I said, U14 below. As you get to U15 and up, I believe now they have to learn that their minutes are important. Would I still ever leave a kid on the bench for no time at all? No.
What about an adult?
No.
That's what I was saying.
No, I don't.
I've got to be honest. I did.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think there was at least.
I agree
There
with
must have been at least 3 games where it was that tight that I never even made sub.
I
had 5.
I agree with
and
you.
I had 5.
That's fine. They should know.
It was devastating for me. It hurt me as a manager, and these players were my friends, really.
What level was it? Grassroots, local.
Yeah. It's pub amateur football.
Yeah, okay.
It was pub amateur football, but them games would have been a game where we needed to win the league, and it's harsh, very very harsh.
Yeah.
And I know as a player myself, I hate being on the bench, let alone I always got on.
Yeah.
Not like I was on the bench very often, but if I was, I always got put on. I was always the first one on.
Yeah.
But it hurt me, and there's a few players out there that they called me a cunt. They you know what I mean, in the pub afterwards, but they'd still be there the next week.
Yeah.
And the next week, I'd probably start them.
Yeah.
They'd probably be starting. And like you said, it's about the whole season rather than that. In the season where you played for me, we had the 4 decent centre mids, and you rotated around. I'd bring you off 20 minutes into the second half, and the week after you'd get a full game. The next week you'd be on the bench. And it worked out right for all of you. Minutes wise, you've all got the right amount of minutes. I'm not saying any of you were really happy with that, because all of you wanted to play the 90 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
But
I think it's because of the level, though. I think what I think you got to understand is that probably why you felt bad, because they've still turned up to training midweek. They've turned up, they've paid their subs, and you haven't got them a minute on the pitch.
No, but if they had paid the subs during game day, they'd get it back.
Oh, okay.
100% they'd get it back. There's no way I would keep their subs.
Yeah, okay.
No way I'd keep their subs.
Well, look, for me at adult, if I'm honest, and like I said, from U15 upward, no one's guaranteed 50% of the game. Especially at adult, I wouldn't say you're guaranteed a minute. You're in the squad, and I'll make changes as I see fit.
That's the only way I did it.
Simple as that.
That's how I had to do it.
Simple as that.
And it hurt me, you know. Like,
Yeah, of course it would.
You know, I've still got some people that still speak to me regularly that I did that too.
Yeah, yeah.
And they still speak to me, you know. They understood, you know. Like, and I was always an open book. Excuse me. If they ever had an issue, come back to the pub and we discuss it. And I'd be open about it. In this game, we need this, or this. And unfortunately, you can't offer me that. Yeah. You know, like it was a different, different style of play. The formation changed, or whatever. But majority of the time, they would get their chance the week after.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not saying that was 100% fact either. You know, like,
it all depends on the game.
Yeah, it all depends on the game. So the courses for courses. You know, like. And as harsh as it is, it's brutal. Football is brutal no matter what level you're at. It is.
And that's why I believe, though, at U15 plus, you've got to prepare for that. Because it ain't going to be all single dancing, playing 50%, playing in 3 different, 4 different positions, and it's you're the world's greatest. It's, right, you're heading towards the big boy league. Once you're 16, mate, you can start playing in the adult amateur level. And you're going to get kicked shit out of. So I've got to prepare you now, mentally, for that. And it's not going to be easy. So, unfortunately, mate, you got 15 minutes today. You got to do the working training. Yeah. You got to put yourself out there. And I think when it comes to youth football, even at U15, there and up, it's still going to be hit and miss. Consistency is going to be this. The parents start to drift away. Are they turning up on time? Are they turning up late? All that's got to come into it. Like, we have a rule. If you're late for warm up, you ain't starting.
I had that rule as adults.
Regardless.
Never mind the kids. You know, like, and there was one lad, he played for me. He'd only just signed. He played 2 games. I think he scored 2 goals in each game.
Yeah.
And then the week after, no message to say he was going to be late. Nothing like it. If he'd messaged me, I'm running late, I'm on my way, I'm going to be nothing. He rocks up like 5 minutes before kick-off, and I've already named the team.
Yeah.
You know, I've already named the team. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly.
You know, I've named you as a sub.
Yeah.
But you're a sub. He didn't come back the week after.
Because you didn't play him.
Because I didn't play him.
Yeah.
You know, like, he got on as well as a sub, but because I didn't
start him.
I didn't start him. I know he scored 2 goals, and like. He's like, you knew I was going to be here. How do I know that? You know, like, how do I know that if you're not telling me? You know, like, you sent me a message, 3 days ago saying you're available. You know, things change. You know, like, unless you're telling me, you can't make it.
Yeah.
I can't make any arrangement. I can't change anything for it. I've had to make that decision and go with it.
Yeah. And it's probably different at kids level because, like, some people will probably frown upon the fact that I've said they don't start the game if they're late. But at the end of the day, I get it's not their fault, they're not the ones driving, etc. But at the end of the day, what is that player at home? No, he's got a game day. Is he getting up early? Is he making his own breakfast? And I'm not talking like U7s, U8s because they ain't going to be doing that, right? Obviously, U7s, U8s
30, 14, there's no reason.
U7s and U8s and that, there's no reason
that they shouldn't be knocking at the parents' door saying,
come on, get off.
I know Brendan's dressed before he can get out of bed.
Exactly.
He's in his full kit. He's probably still on his computer, still gaming with his earphones on and that, but he's ready. Yeah, he's ready. Do you know what I mean? He's ready. He's sorted. You know, like then all he has to do now is literally put his shin pads on, get his boots on, and then we're done. Well, he wears his sliders, flip flops. I like to call them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think about that, mate. But good question, that. To be fair, good question. Thanks for tuning in. That was a real good question. Like the conversation there. To be fair, I wasn't expecting that. It was good. It's about gaffing and that.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, isn't it?
Cheers.
We're good at it.